What's up, everybody? Welcome into Bleav in Kentucky. My name is Vinny Hardy. We got Cole Park from the Cats Paws. And Cole, man, it's another week. Got more stuff to hit on. We got a guest backstage as well. Um, how's your week been before we bring our guest on?
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad so far this week. Just business as usual. Had a basketball game Saturday. Got to watch the end of that volleyball game. Uh, Cats clinched a spot in the Final Four. Kansas City, unfortunately, won't be making the trip there. I got to go to Atlanta this Saturday. But basketball as usual, and a little bit of football stuff as well with Joe Sloan having a press conference.
Absolutely. And I don't know why I'm hoarse. I feel fine. Guess I should start talking like Mark Pope because I can't yell. I got to put the yell on myself where I can't be hollering not just been yelling at my wife and kids and I'm hoarse. No, I don't know. I'm hoarse. Don't know why. So y'all bear with me. So I apologize for that. We got a guest this week. For y'all that know, sometimes it's cold on myself. Sometimes we have guests. First time on the podcast, so looking forward to that. Covers the Cats, basketball and football for Kentucky Wildcats on SI. Also co-host the Breaking Blue Pod on Twitter at Wildcat_Wave. Wyatt Huff is here to chop it up with us, man. Wyatt, appreciate you hopping on, man. How you doing?
Good. Thank y'all for having me. Ready to talk some ball. So,
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. First of all, man, just give us, ain't trying to get in your business, but just give us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about Wyatt, where you're from,
uh,
where'd you go to school, all that kind of stuff. A little background info on Wyatt Huff.
yeah, I'm a junior at UK right now. I'm home for the break. I'm about to go to Atlanta this weekend, so can't complain about that. So, yeah, it's a pretty busy time when it gets basketball season. So,
For sure, for sure. So you from Kentucky or from out of state or
I'm
where?
from McLean County here in Kentucky. It's
Okay.
around the Owensboro area.
Cool, cool. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And so who you co-host your pod with on Breaking
Uh,
Blue?
no one Fleming.
Okay. Well, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Like I said, appreciate you hopping on. So I'm
Yeah.
just throw it to the two of y'all, man. Where y'all want to start first? You Cole, you mentioned it. Got a little football stuff, got basketball, got volleyball. Where y'all want to go first?
I mean, I feel
I'm
like we
I'm
have
all
to.
I'm all basketball, but I mean it's
Yeah.
up to it's up
Biggest
to
topic we left last week on was this big game against Indiana. Put up or shut up time. We got the response. Vinny, how'd it go for the Wildcats against Indiana?
Well, I mean, if we've been honest, the the first half, Cole and White, it
yeah.
was kind of teetering to me.
Yeah.
It could have easily kind of got away from us. I was like, oh, we about to really have this happen at home. Uh, it was. I tweeted out it was kind of like the North Carolina game. It was kind of ragged. It was kind of rough
Yeah.
and kind of not pretty. And with all the cutting and the spacing and the threes and the pretty basketball, I don't think that's going to be it this year. But it was a win against I don't know how good they are, but it was a high profile name
Mhm.
brand, non mid major type with W. So
Yeah, I mean, I remember the Heisman ceremony was going on during the game as well, and I think I turned to whoever was next to me around halftime. The Kentucky trailed by a few scores there. I agree. Early on, it kind of seemed like it was going away from Kentucky, like it was going to be like the North Carolina game. So I looked over to who was next to me, and I said, "It makes me feel physically sick that you can be an Indiana fan that came to Rupp Arena today and might watch your team beat Kentucky just to leave, and then because your bad internet inside the arena kicks in, you find out your quarterback won the Heisman while you were doing that." I was like, that would
Oh my
sicken me to
gosh.
my core. I was
Oh.
like, that would absolutely disgust me.
Oh.
Luckily, though, that's not what happens. Kentucky turned it on in the second half, really powered back. And not saying that lightly, 40 second half points. to end up winning 72-60. Not just a win over a team that can very likely make the NCAA tournament, but a convincing one at that. At the end of the day, I mean, a double-digit win over this team, and particularly what stuck out to me is a double-digit win when you were forced to play something other than the way you wanted to play. Because let's keep it honest here, that that game, the way it went, is probably not how Kentucky intended for it to go. Probably wasn't what the game plan was going into it. But it's what they had to adapt to, and it's what they moved to, and it got the win. And boy, did they need that. Boy, did they need that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Wyatt?
Yeah, I think in terms of my perspective, I mean, Jalen Lowe played 9 minutes in the first half. I think that was a big part in not getting the offense going, which was rough in the first half. And I think he played 16 in the second half. So he was a big part of that big run. And then you had Mo D getting the rebounds and crashing the glass against a team that ranks in the bottom of the country in rebounds. So that was good to see. And it seems like they feed off that energy too when they're on the floor.
Yeah, certainly that point with Mo D. I mean, his return game after, being out since Michigan State with that high ankle sprain, I think is what we got. But he made his return on his birthday. The birthday boy ends up with 14 points, 12 rebounds, like you said, Wyatt. A team that struggled a little bit on the boards this season. We saw Brandon Garrison get benched for that against North Carolina Central, as well as Malachi struggle. I mean, finished tied on offensive rebounds against NC Central. I mean, that's rough for this team. But today they're fighting for it. The thing that I think stuck out the most to me, clearly we all watched it. The three ball was not there. Kentucky wanted to shoot threes, and it was not able to do so. And because of that, we saw a pretty big shift, I thought, to not only, we can talk what we want to in a second about Brandon Garrison coming back with the fire he had after his benching, the response from Brandon Garrison there. But more than anything, it felt like once it started getting later in that game in the second half, the key was we saw less of Chandler, we saw less of Noah, and we saw a lot more pushing the ball down low to Mo D. And I'm not at all saying this team can't win with Trent Noah or Colin Chandler. That's the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm saying they adapted to what the game was calling for. The shots weren't falling, so they went down low. They took advantage of what Indiana was giving them, the fact that Indiana was already in foul trouble from their own doings in the first half. And they really just played a very different brand of basketball than we thought this team would. I mean, this is a team that wants to shoot threes, and they were deliberately seeking out plays down low, cutting, looking for Mo down there, looking for Cam. Cam probably had one of his better games, even if it was a bit quieter with what Mo was doing. And all in all, just we saw Kentucky win a game in a way that if you'd have told me this is the kind of game it was going to be before, I would have said, oh, so they're losing. It's not quite what happened. Kentucky got the win by double digits at that. I don't know if Vinny is still on this realm of existence with us at the current moment. So we can transition on our own into Brandon Garrison. What did you see out of BG in that one? And what do you think it says about what this can mean for this team going forward?
I saw a lot more effort and a lot more energy from a guy who, quite frankly, has lacked that lately. And it was good to see. And a lot of people are like, because I remember like Rob Doster on the field of 68 would always be like, I think he said that 2 weeks in a row where he's like, maybe you need to think about cutting him. And I was kind of like, I don't want to go that far, but I think it's clearly effort with him. And we saw him actually get a fire lit under him. I think Pope sent a message to him, worked, and benching him. And I think benching him is the perfect thing to do, because if you're a player and you don't like, and if you want to send a message to your player, just bench him. Keep him from doing what he loves to do. And I think that was the perfect message, and he responded the right way.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit that I was a little bit nervous of what that response was going to be. I mean, Pope said he could have reacted any way he wanted to. He could have turned in his jersey and quit. Yeah. I arguably would have expected that outcome more than what we got. I mean, Brandon Garrison checks back into the game and just he got this one rebound, I remember, in the game, and I forget who it was, but I turned to someone next to me. I said, that might be the most impressive thing I've ever seen him do. Like that rebound, he fought for it, and he was forcing the ball down low. I mean, and he still had some mistakes. He wasn't perfect. We're not acting like, this was a perfect basketball player, but it was by far the best Brandon Garrison we've seen. And the intensity, the effort, the hustle, it was all there. And it was the perfect response. And, I think Pope was very passionate about his response to that. He said his mom should be proud, like his kid should be proud. I think if nothing else, Brandon Garrison should be proud of the way he responded, the way he represented himself, and the way he was able to help power Kentucky to this victory by double digits over an Indiana team that I could be wrong. It could come back to bite me. I'll still say I think they're going to the tournament this year. Not as a very high seed, but I think they'll make it into the tournament this year. So a double-digit win over what I think is an NCAA tournament team.
Yeah, sorry that I had to pop off. I was having to charge this battery up and had to turn the camera off, and so appreciate y'all keeping it going. Hey, look, the BG thing, I think everybody been giving him the side eye for a long time, and Pope's patience was way longer than. Look, we're not at practice and all this, but seeing the games and hearing what he would say in press conferences or on the call-in show about the potential and the positivity and his efficiency, and he's doing all this. I'm like, it's not adding up for me. And so I'm, going into the season, I was wondering about him. I was like, can this dude step in and like fill the Amari role? Was he the one that's supposed to be facilitating from the 5 spot? In limited action last year, we would see bad passes. We would see, here, Kobe Bryant is standing right beside you open. Give him the ball. He shoots 50% from 3, and you wouldn't give him the ball. I'm like, and then we hear how, I know I'm rambling and getting long-winded, guys in second year under Pope take a leap. And I'm like, BG ain't leaped yet. And leap ain't even the right way to say leap, but my English is getting bad and my grammar is bad. But y'all know what I'm saying. So for him to finally tell him to sit down when he didn't, when a little guard, a mouse in the house, takes your lunch, you don't get a chase down block and smack his layup up into the 5th row after he stole the ball from you, and you just, jog back. And I guess Pope snapped and saw enough. We were like, thank God, because we've been fussing at our TV, and y'all in press row, probably under your breath for all year long. So it was good to see him. And look, Cole, to your point, if he had reacted and quit, we wasn't getting much out of him anyway. If that's how you had taken it, that's the wrong way to take it. But we wasn't missing much. But for you to take it the way you did and respond, hopefully that continues. But it was you've now shown what you're capable of if you keep a fire lit under your butt and handle criticism the right way.
Yeah, I think more than anything too, it showed us more of BG. I think because I want to be careful with how I say this, but I think us saying that we thought it was more likely he would have quit than to have the kind of response he did. I mean, the thing about that is it wouldn't have shocked me per se, because that was, for lack of a better term, at least somewhat how I viewed BG, and other players in the team. I don't necessarily think that they would be as prone to quitting as I did think BG would be prone to quitting, but he shut me up. He proved me wrong. He came out there and gave it everything he had. And I think it not only showed his potential as a basketball player, but BG's potential as a person as well to be the kind, there's just been so much talk this season, especially when things have not been going well, about did they get the right players? Is it a problem of these players, especially compared to last year with that veteran-led team? They all responded the right way. They all were mature the right way. I mean, there was a genuine concern are these the right players that can perform in this and excel? And I think BG just showed that, it's still early in the season. We still can believe that these are the right players. They're still going to give it what they got. It's not, BBN is a different animal, and it can get very doom and gloom very quickly, but there's still a lot of basketball to be played and a lot of time to figure these things out. And there's still every reason to believe that these players on this team can still succeed within this team.
Yeah, I think from roster construction wise, those gripes are still there, and they should be. But I think
Yeah.
this team can still perform because we saw the way they had to beat Indiana. Physical, attack inside, be aggressive like they should have been, play intense defense. Like it's there, and they got to learn to win that way. Because honestly, I don't think they can win well shooting the ball, if often at all this season. I just don't think the pieces are there for that. So you're gonna have to go in a different way, and I think they showed at least that in a good way Saturday.
I think just what I was getting at there at the BG point is just I think when you cover a team, or if you just watch a team as a fan, it's so easy for us to overhype players sometimes and say, well, like I know what he's capable of, but I feel like at the same time, even if those are the players we cover or watch, it is also easy to say, I know that player, he's not going to be able to do that. Like undervalue the players on your own team because you're like, I've seen this too many times. He's not going to make that. And I, for one, love when a player can prove me wrong on that. When I can say this guy, he's not going to do it, and they can prove me wrong, go out there and do it. So I really admire that, and I respect. Hopefully, keeps going this way for BG.
Yeah. For me, that player is Andrea Yelovich. Like it was like it was literally all the way up till the season started. I was like, I don't know about him. I don't know about him. I would talk to people. I would talk to people like inside the practice that were like, yeah, and they would kind of back me up on what I was already thinking. So I hope he can prove me wrong. It seems like he's going down in the rotation a little bit.
Yeah, and everybody, no matter what you do, everybody that's an adult and got responsibilities, this is my why. This is why I do what I do. No different with these players. And going back to Garrison, his why is even different. The man already has a child. You got a toddler.
Yeah.
If that doesn't change your perspective, nothing will. I wasn't 22 when I had my first child. I was 31, and that still changed, And so I can imagine being, a sophomore, junior, senior in college. He's not the first, and he won't be the last, but that still is a whole different adjustment to your perspective. Colin Chandler is a married man already. He's not the first, won't be the last, but it's still, to me, kind of rare when you're watching the game and, oh, this dude's already married. Oh, wow. Is he marriage age? Yeah. I was 24 and I got married, same age as him, but I wasn't playing basketball for Kentucky. So,
You also weren't a freshman or sophomore when you were 24.
Yeah, exactly. So his why is different. So it's cool to see how that can still motivate you.
Yeah.
Brandon Garrison has that to think about. Maybe maturity comes and goes, but when you're a father already, you got some maturing to do, whether you want to or not, or it's gonna have to happen faster. Because that changes you when you got a little version of yourself running around that you got to think about instead of just being solely focused on, hey, me. You can't be that way anymore.
Yeah.
So we have Pope versus Rick. Indiana and Cole, you and I were worried. They scored 115 points at home against Penn State. Wilkerson dropped 44, hit 10 threes. We were skeptical. We were like, could Kentucky score 115 points and beat a team by 40, even if it is, Penn State? Is Indiana elite? No. But so now, St. John has already taken some punches and lost a few games. Rick don't want to lose the Pope. Sure, he loves Kentucky and he patched it up and he's back in the good graces of BBN and all that. But he doesn't want to lose to a former player. Or if we're playing physical now and that's our identity, will it hold up against a physical team that's their identity?
There's a elephant in the room here. Depends on who's playing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It's on who's playing, doesn't it? If certain somebody isn't playing, do I think that Kentucky can outmuscle St. John's? No, I don't. But if certain someone's playing,
Nah,
maybe.
I mean, I think even if he does for that stretch of 8 to 10 minutes that he plays, I think he could be a factor. But you still
But he's
have,
going to be on a. I mean, he has to be on a minute restriction, surely.
you still
If he
have
plays,
Zuby
if he
Ejiofor.
plays.
I mean, Zuby Ejiofor is like one of the more physical big men in the country, and I was scared of Graham Ike going into
Yeah.
that one.
That dude
And
kills us.
I'm still
Graham
worried about.
Ike 3 years in a
I'm
row,
still worried
Kentucky
about that.
killer.
Yeah, no matter who the coach is, where we playing at, we could be in Seattle, we could be in Lexington, we could be on the moon. If you got a Gonzaga uniform on, he's a problem for us.
I think Kentucky's best bet, as cynical as it sounds, is to just pray that Mark Pope was telling the truth. When Mark Pope, after the Indiana game, Mark Pope said that this team can be a lot better at shooting. It was just very tightly wound. I believe it. Okay, I don't necessarily think that this team's going to be an elite shooting team. Do not go and put that out there do not put a big quote bubble next to my head that says Kentucky's going to be a good shooting team. I don't think so. I do not think this team will be an elite shooting team like last year was. However, I think they can be a better shooting team than they were against Indiana. I mean, what was our start just the flame emojis going for three for 15 from the line. I think they can do a bit better than that. I think that Mark Pope said they were tightly wound. They were a bit tight. I believe it. I think anyone that's ever played a sport can tell you that, we might not have necessarily data or analytics to back it up, but I don't need some nerd telling me that momentum does not exist. It does. Okay, if you ever played a sport, momentum and confidence are two of the biggest factors. It does not matter if we can quantify them with analytics. To me, it matters if you ever played the sport. You can feel it. So
a game of runs. It's a game
exactly.
of runs.
That's basketball's a game of runs. Sometimes I also think that coming into this game, to play D1 basketball at Kentucky, you are a confident player. I want to put it out there that they are confident players. But anyone who's been an athlete, even if you're confident in yourself, they're going to struggle when what has happened has happened. I mean, for as upset as we were watching the Gonzaga game, they were on the court. They felt it. They watched all those buckets go in, on their heads. I'd probably not shoot my best after that, to be honest with you. That might rattle me a little bit, even if I'm still confident myself as a basketball player. Mark Pope was pretty adamant about that. He said, he was pretty blunt about it post game. He said, I don't want to hear a player who like makes fun of someone for being scared or anxious. Like, we all get nervous, we all get anxious. Let's just put it out there and then we can move past it. And I think that this game, I saw someone compare this game against Indiana to what potentially the Kentucky game was last year for Arkansas. And in that, I mean, you can beat up on whoever you want to until you finally beat a team like an Indiana or a Kentucky last year. It doesn't matter if you believe you're on that level, if you believe you can beat those teams. Going into that game against Indiana, Kentucky hadn't. Kentucky's been booed by their own fans. They got pummeled by Gonzaga, pummeled by Michigan State. They lost close against North Carolina, lost close to Louisville. I can see that team going 3 for 15 from beyond the arc in a game like this. So my point in all of that rambling nonsense is to say, if Mark Pope is telling the truth and that's all this was, I think they can win. If they can hit better threes, actually make shots now, they know they can do it. And if a certain someone's back, you have that reliance over down low. I think you also know that Mo's going to play physical. Mo's going to fight no matter who he's playing against. I worry about J-Lo a little bit with physicality, but he's proven that he's not afraid of it. He's happy to embrace it. Maybe we get this continued fired up Brandon Garrison that we can see. All in all, I think if Kentucky is able to have its three ball a bit better and continue with some of this physicality down low, play a more hybrid game, I think they can beat St. John's. That's their best bet, though. They're going to need to shoot better than they did against Indiana, because I don't think in a pure muscle match they're going to win. And I also agree with Wyatt that I think just trying to be a sharpshooting team is also not going to be the way you're going to win. Yeah. Clearly, this team is not built that way. Clearly, this team's going to have to play a more hybrid attack, and hope it works out for you.
Yeah. I think this one comes down to turnovers. I mean, St. John's is one of the more sloppy teams I've ever seen. I watched 3 of their games. Every time, like you don't even have to make as much contact on them, but they'll end up like turning over. They're like one of the lowest in steal percentage in the country. It's rough, and if Kentucky can do what they did in the second half against Indiana, I think that could be the factor.
I mean, that is a big factor. It's which Kentucky team we're going to get, though, because we've seen Kentucky force a lot of turnovers. We've also seen Kentucky be pretty prone to turnovers in some of these losses. So,
Yeah.
if Kentucky can take care of the ball and force turnovers like it was against Indiana, like you just said, that will be a big factor. I do think St. John's is a bit sloppy at times, and who even wants to get started on their whole point guard debacle they had in the offseason where they brought a guy in to be the point guard, and then now he's not a point guard at all. Now he's not starting. Who even knows what's going on? Slick Rick out there in Queens, New York.
That's right. And I mean,
it's been a wild roller coaster for him this season.
Yes,
it's that I think they've won 3 straight, but they barely won against Ole Miss. They barely won against DePaul. Like they're barely squeaking these games out, and they struggled in the first half against Iona before Rick tore into them, because that's what Rick does.
Yeah. I mean, we can be honest about it. Kentucky's been worse, but for all intents and purposes, when you're talking about the conversation of most disappointing teams so far this year, St. John's is in that conversation.
Yeah,
I think Kentucky tops them a little bit. So we can't don't have a ton of room to talk in that regard.
Yeah.
But if you separate Kentucky from that conversation, St. John's has absolutely not lived up to the expectations. I mean, we had people in the preseason saying they could be a number 1 team, and they're clearly not.
Yeah.
I do think they're a team that can be a lot better than they've shown, the same as Kentucky. But this is really arguably for both of these teams. Both of these teams are coming into this game with something to prove.
Yeah, for sure. Sure, because you mentioned the turnovers with Kentucky. I mean, you were there in Nashville. It looked like it was the first time they'd been on the court together. You go to the park, and you just me, you, us 5, and there's times where I cut, and you think I'm going to stay on the wing, and you throw it out of bounds. How many times just airmailing passes to look like no practice time together at all.
I hate bringing it up, but Cole, you can agree with this. Like they always set us up at the top at Rupp, so we never get that big point of view like we had in Nashville. But on the offensive side of the ball, I saw no communication, and it was the worst I've ever seen of a team.
Yeah.
If I could have, I would have got on that court and screamed at them myself, because I couldn't take it. And I had to remember, I was like, I can't react like I do up at the top, or I'll get in trouble. So it was bad. And what set it off was the beginning of the game. I forgot who did it, but they threw it. They were like looking back, because it happened twice. But one of the times they hit a ref in the face.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad.
I'm a big Patriots fan. It always reminds me of props to Buddy Now. He's had quite the resurgence in his career, but I'll always remember the Sam Darnold getting caught mic'd up saying, "I'm seeing ghosts" after throwing another interception. That's what I think of it. Like he just admits, like, I'm seeing ghosts after he throws another pick. Like, great resurgence for him. But I think of that every time. Kentucky in that game, man, I don't know what they were seeing, but that place must have been haunted, because they're passing to nobody over and over again.
Yeah. And I know we're been a while since I covered games, but I've been up there at the top at Rupp like you all. And then you contrast that when you're at a road football venue or at Kroger Field, when you're in the quiet, no noise at all press box where you can't at the top of Rupp, you can blend in and let stuff out. And just because you're right just in the middle of all 20,000, and nobody knows if you react to a play, somebody gets dunked on, you can your sound just blends right in with everybody. They don't know that was me in press row. But when you're in the typical standard traditional press settings, it is a lot harder to where you got to put that hat on and just mute all movements and emotions.
Man, my biggest thing about Nashville was, like, I got to remember, because they're literally on the court right there. I don't want them, not saying like they know who I am, but they probably seen me around. And I was like, we got to remember as media, we can't react or they'll see it because they don't really expect it from us like they do the fans. So I think that was my biggest thing going in. I was like, I've got to remember I'm down on the court.
Yeah, put your
Yeah,
hat on.
Yeah.
Me personally, I actually never really had an issue not reacting to things, but I think that's because the light left my eyes a long time ago. We're pretty dead inside over here, so I could watch the greatest play you've ever seen and just kind of stare at it still faced.
I can flip the switch if I'm at home or at the bar, whatever, or if I'm,
You remember
covering
the
a game.
Minneapolis Miracle, Diggs, sideline, end zone, Vikings win that game. I was watching that alone in my bedroom, had it on my tablet, and I watched it and I go, oh, nice. That's cool.
Wow.
Cool. I didn't have a dog in that fight, so it didn't really matter to me, but I like the game. Don't get me wrong. I love the game. I enjoy watching it. Like the hype moments are cool. But I'm not a very reactive person in general. So
I think I'm more reactive when things are bad. Like it's to the point where I'm either a face in the palm kind of guy, or I'm just like shaking my head, or I'm like depressed, like all the emotions.
I think you can see my eyes gloss over, and I just become like a statue, just observe.
First game I ever covered was, I don't know, Stoops' second year at Tennessee. So I'm in Neyland Stadium, and
One of
all
those
this
ice
stuff.
cream Twix bars they have in the stadium.
Press
Box had some phenomenal ice cream sandwiches.
They had some good stuff. I was picking out. But Kentucky was not favored at all to win. It wasn't supposed to be close. I think Tennessee goes 3-and-out. And Kentucky gets the ball, and they're, converting third downs and moving the ball down the field. And one particular third down conversion is 3rd and 6 or something like that. They run it out. Was it Patrick Toast? Where it was a nice out, they convert it. And it's a long time Tennessee newspaper guy. I know he's from Chattanooga or Nashville, whatever. But it's dead silent in the press box. Kentucky converts another 3rd and long. And you just hear him under his breath. He goes, "That was too easy." He just couldn't. He just couldn't keep it in. He's supposed to be quiet and all this, that, and the other, but his emotion just came out. That was too easy.
We had someone get yelled at this year, not from UK media, someone from I don't even know if they're media or just like someone that got to be up there. We had a stern warning have to come on in the press box at South Carolina. South Carolina fans were bit reactive, bit clapping, bit cheering going on after I think Boley got sacked for like the 80,000th time. But it hasn't really been a ton of an issue outside of that in my experience. I will say I did see someone in the old Florida press box get a drink dropped onto the crowd, but that wasn't intentional.
Stories. So real quick, just to sidetrack, we know Cole is all Boston all the time. Patriots, Red Sox, Celtics. Who do you root for outside of Kentucky?
I'm all over the map. I'm all over the map. I've got Green Bay Packers. I've got Houston Rockets. I've got Cincinnati Reds. Like I'm all over the map.
All right. Hey, I'm with you on the Rockets, man. I'm a Rockets fan too. It's not many.
It's not many. Yeah, there's not many.
Kyle McClellan from KY Insider is a Rockets fan as well.
No way.
So, yeah.
I know him pretty. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll bring that up to him next time I see him.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my goodness, dang, Doug Flutie in the house.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, last episode. Cole was fussing and
I was watching Boston College.
Yes, yeah, he was watching them cough up a lead. Last episode,
and they lost. Boy, did they lose. Got another game on the TV today, not BC. We got a great game. It's a terrible game of basketball, but it's very back and forth between undefeated number 13 Vanderbilt and the Aaron Bagshaw, Kentucky Legends. Aaron Bradshaw, Memphis Tigers, who are.
I'm watching it.
You want to talk about disappointing teams? Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy, are they currently 4-5 on the season?
But Penny is the homeboy, and it will take an act of Congress for them to run him off. Vanderbilt had a big lead.
I was about
They
to
were
bring that up. How does he still have a job?
because he's from there. He's
Oh my
one of
gosh.
them.
Also an NBA legend.
He's the
NBA legend,
901.
Penny Hardaway.
He's the
I mean,
901
I
to the
mean,
core. He's
Georgetown
901.
got rid of Patrick Ewing, so
Yeah, but it took them way too long to get rid of. It took them. Let's not pretend it didn't take them way too long after he posted his first 3-win season to finally fire him.
yeah.
Let's be honest about that program is still recovering from his tenure now.
And guys guys coaching their alma mater, the track record of that is, Roy Williams at North Carolina, that went well.
Jerry Stackhouse.
Shire is doing really good.
Stackhouse with UNC though. He didn't.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking more former NBA players. Coaching is a mixed bag.
Like Chris Mullen at St. John's, Clyde Drexler at Houston, Patrick Ewing at Georgetown, Kenny Payne at Louisville is the. Woo. And,
I didn't know Clyde coached at Houston.
Yeah, he was on that Five Slam Majama from the 80s. Clyde was probably the eight whatever it's Final Four. Houston, Louisville.
Yeah, just
above the rim at its finest from the 80s. Find that on YouTube, and that is some sight to see. But so Mark Pope at Kentucky, we need to.
I could do this all day if we just want to keep naming disappointing teams. Marquette, Shaka Smart allergic to the transfer portal, losing record. Watched Creighton win by 40 over Xavier. Neither of those teams are doing great this year. Richard Pitino now leading Xavier. That one was up in Cincinnati and Cintas. They lost by 40 to Creighton, who also isn't doing that great this year, starting the year in the top 25. Now, this big win by 40 over a Big East opponent gets them to above 500. So they're back. Watch out for the Blue Jays.
So we'll have to talk Rockets, Wyatt. So that's good stuff, and we'll get with Kyle. He's a Rockets fan. So it's a few of us in Kentucky.
That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because I forget how it came up. I was a little bit worried, and we'll get back. We got to get to Kentucky football too, but I just wish KD was like 33, 32 instead of 37. I was a little bit worried when they made that trade. I was like, because he's already had an Achilles and he's 37 years old, but it's working out. Reed Shepherd is getting minutes. I said for the season, Reed was going to be most improved player of the year, and he very well could be. So he's hoping.
Yeah, and last year was a Min, and now it's Reed. Like we're clicking. We're clicking.
Yeah. So
Sengun still frustrates me a lot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But he's got those tendencies to where it's like he does something that makes up for it. So that's where I'm with him. Like I think it was the other night. I forgot who we were playing, but it was he did this little spin and he kind of like Cooper Flag and he turned it over, and I was like, man, you've got to pay attention. Like he has those dumbfounded moments, but man, he makes up for it.
But when the spin works, and then that of course sticks in his mind more than the times it doesn't. So that means you're gonna get more spin move every time he feels the need to do it.
And I remember the when we played the Warriors in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he just kept going at Draymond Green. I was like, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, he took the bait. He took the bait. Draymond knew what he was doing, and he took the bait. And that's just the old head messing with a young head, and the old crafty. Draymond knows every trick in the book, and that's all that was, man. That's when you're, 17 and should be killing your dad in the backyard, and your dad still beats you. He's like, why? No, dad can't jump anymore. He can't guard. He has no lateral movement. Why did he beat me 10-8 just now? What happened?
It's like the old bank shot.
Yeah,
it really is.
Exactly. So cool. We got off sidetrack. That was fun. It happens from time to time. So football, real quick. We got Will Stein. We see the staff coming together. What are y'all's thoughts? Joe Sloan spoke today. Just y'all's thoughts on what we're seeing from the staff, and pretty soon it'll be spring game before we know it, but it's still a ways away. And Stein is still in Oregon juggling. But what do y'all think of what y'all was thinking? We'll go Cole first and then Wyatt.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I like what I've seen. The biggest thing, my biggest takeaway today from Sloan, if anything, was just said he's really close with Cutter Boley. He worked on recruiting him in high school, that he sees him every day. Obviously, still a lot to be decided with this Kentucky team. The portal hasn't even officially opened yet. There's still a lot of questions. You know, I've heard reports the staff's viewing Cutter Boley as QB1. Cutter Boley himself hasn't really made any kind of comments one way or the other about what he's going to do since Stoops was fired. It'll be interesting to follow that, see where that goes if Cutter Boley sticks around. But Joe Sloan seemed to be a big fan of him.
Yeah.
So we got that today. Other than that, I mean, I like what I'm seeing out of the staff coming together. I think there's been some really good hires. I think Bateman as the DC, that could be a pretty good one. He wanted more autonomy with play calling, which I understand that. Not really able to call plays out in College Station with Mike Elko leading the charge there. But nonetheless, it's getting close to that time, Vinny. It's getting close to that time for the portal to open, for us to really find out what this team is going to be. We've heard a couple big things happen lately. Obviously, losing Steven Souls, that's going to be tough. Arguably tougher, though, losing Jalen Farmer to the NFL draft. We got that today. Jalen Farmer announces he'll be going to the NFL draft. That means Kentucky will have no returning starting linemen. Obviously, Burton, Wolschlager, Pete, and Braun all are out of eligibility.
Yeah.
Farmer was the only one that had any left. He's going to the NFL. So there's still a lot of questions in terms of the construction of this team. Who's staying? Who's going? What are we going to see? But in terms of the staff, I'm pretty still on board with what I'm seeing. I'm excited for the potential that this group has. And I don't think, we've all seen the schedule. Alabama week 2, then go to A&M. I mean, they said, good luck, fellas. They said, enjoy it while it lasts.
October is rough again too. The whole month of
Yeah,
October is.
At that point, I'm just making. I don't know that it's going to turn around year 1, but I'm excited to see the first year of the Stein era and see what they can do going forward with this team.
Yeah, I think that schedule was like the first thing I noticed. Like even when they just announced the 9-game schedule, I was like, ooh. But then they had the matchups in the order, and I was like, oh, that's even worse. So now,
yeah, they got
you
Bama week
like
2, then they go to
bad.
A&M week 3. I mean, that's just oof.
It's bad, but you got to build on something. You can't just quit. And I'm glad we have a coach now that doesn't say this. It's hard. He embraces it and goes after it and goes out and get the staff that he feels is built for that, and his brilliant offensive mind is what I'm really excited for. Yeah, it's hard to compete in SEC now, and if you're not scoring over 20 points, and I think Mitch Barnhart kind of realized that. I think he actually said that was like a focal point in the search, was getting an offensive mind like that, and Will Stein's your guy. He's confident too. Love that.
I don't know what y'all think, but and he's free to do what he wants, and he can feel how he wants to feel. If Cutter wants to move on, you can't blame him. But if you're him, and he can do what he wants, but I don't know if he'll find a better quarterback-friendly guy.
Yeah.
You're a quarterback, and this is an overhaul, and this is a whole new change, and you maybe didn't want to see that or hope that wouldn't happen. But this guy, man, will focus on you. This guy played the position. You still got Heartline. You still got all of that. Sloan coming in. If you open yourself up to it, and I'm not saying he hasn't. Maybe he is open to it. Maybe he's weighing all this out. But just to immerse himself in this coaching that he would get from an offensive guy, that could serve him well. I mean, in his development, he might not see it, might not feel that way, might not agree. Maybe he does, but if you just allow yourself to,
I've always thought he was a good fit for Will Stein. Like the first time he was hired, I was like, that's perfect for Cutter. And I never once thought he would leave like that, and the coaches seem confident, so I don't really know where the buzz is about him leaving, though, but the portal can always open and he might change his mind. But right now, I'd say I don't know anything, but I'd want him to stay, and I think he should stay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cutter's absolutely a quarterback who can thrive in Will Stein's system. I think
Yeah.
the difficulty comes in, and I see multiple sides of this. One, sports fans are inherently irrational. Let's call it what it is. Would it change your opinion of Cutter Boley if he entered the transfer portal and then still chose to come back to Kentucky? Would that change your opinion of him? Because it would change a lot of people's opinion of him. We can be honest; it would change a lot of people's opinion of him. But I would argue if you're Cutter Boley, you have to be a little bit crazy not to at least hear
He's
out
got
an
to,
offer.
yeah, he's got to
Yeah.
explore.
I
He's
mean,
got to explore other.
gotta at least
Yeah.
hear it. But like the question would be, if we're keeping it honest, he's already hearing offers. So does he really need to enter the portal to hear those offers? No, he's already hearing them. But I also thought there was some conversation, for a bit, it seemed like the staff wasn't super willing to go all in on just saying Cutter Boley was QB1, but you kind of have to at this stage. You kind of have to say he is, or respectfully, if I'm Cutter Boley and I get told, you might not be quarterback one, I'm transferring to a school that's immediately going to make me quarterback one, which is they're out there. They'll give you a spot, bro. So you kind of had to name him quarterback one, and it seems like they did start doing that. The question
Do they
now
have
is,
to? Or do they have somebody else? Or I mean, if they got somebody, maybe they don't have to. But if you're trying to keep him, maybe you do. But should you feel?
I
think at this stage it'd be a bad look. It'd be a bad look if they didn't. I don't think.
You do have to think of the optics of it all. You really
Yeah.
do. In theory, you shouldn't, but you do. You do have to look at the optics of it. I mean, regardless of whether or not, look, we can say what we want to about him being a locker room presence, whatnot. It was a bad look when Dane Key went to Nebraska. I know he followed his wide receiver coach. I know he felt like he wasn't super utilized. It is a bad look when a kid from Lexington transfers out of your school and goes to another school. So if Cutter Boley, if you have a homegrown quarterback right here from the state of Kentucky who was your starting quarterback and he leaves for another job because you wouldn't guarantee him the spot, that is a rough look. Even if you bring in someone more talent, I think if you brought in someone more talented, people would get over it.
Yeah.
But it is a bad look. And if you're Will Stein, you want to feed the studs, you want to succeed, but you also look at this schedule. Losses are going to be there. So let's not get off on the wrong foot. You know what I mean? Let's start this right and then move from where you go. Also, week 1, Youngstown State, then Bama at A&M. I don't know if we're going to learn something about this Kentucky team 3 weeks in the season. I don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to learn something about this Kentucky team.
And to me, I couldn't even blame Dane when he left, because he gave it as long as he could in such limited offenses where you just mentioned, both you guys just mentioned, Mitch Barnhart. Even Mitch Barnhart came around on the fact that you got to score points these days. And Dane, offensive coordinator, left and right, continuity was never there at that position. We kept seeing new coordinators every other year. So Dane, to me, gave it as long as he could. It was like, okay, all right, I've tried to do it for the front, and I'm from Lexington, but now I gotta go and try to do it for the back.
It is really a cruel bit of irony, though, that this might have been his best year at Kentucky had he stayed, though. This would have been his actual chance to play with a better offense. But I agree with you. I also you can't blame Dane for leaving in that situation. I mean, you gave it all you had, but they just clearly, I would say they were trying to build around him. They just weren't doing a very good job at it. So, they knew what they had. I'm not going to pretend like Kentucky didn't know what it had. They knew. They just couldn't. They just couldn't do it.
They were so, I don't know, inept, so unable to do it that it forced him to say, "Look, man, I appreciate y'all, but I got to, I got to move on." And that's what happened,
It was a bad offense and bad O-line that year, and he was like, I don't want any part of this. I'm out.
And y'all might disagree. I've said it before too on several different shows. There was a run where weren't really getting the bang for your buck this pipeline for Douglas. All these guys from Douglas, boom, boom, boom. DeKel Crowdus and all these guys are coming, and it's a fight to keep them, trying to keep them. And Jagger was able to play his whole career. I'm like,
Ruined
okay,
my homecoming. Still never forgiving him for ruining my homecoming.
My bad. No.
Why did we schedule Douglas for homecoming? I don't know.
He's triggered. Look out. Bad memories here.
I've told him that to his face before, by the way. His words were, "Yeah, I don't know why your coach scheduled Douglas for homecoming." Your guess is as good as mine, bud. Your guess is as good as mine.
So it was a stretch where to me we weren't even getting the most bang for your buck out of all these Douglas kids staying home, and then Ty Bryan and Jagger and all that. Okay, cool. Is finally maybe that's turning around, and we'll see what Stein does too. But so many things are just in love what Stoops did, but the fact that Dane had to leave is frustrating. The fact that a lot of Douglas guys felt they need look. It didn't go like we hoped once they committed to Kentucky. That was kind of disappointing. So I don't know. Just stuff happens, and that was some of the stuff.
Yeah.
That was I was ranting again, but my fault. Man, didn't mean to bring up Madison Central flashback. Sorry about that. My bad, Cole.
It is what it is.
So, man, y'all, real quick, before we hop off volleyball too, best team on campus has a chance to bring home another chip, and to consistently for a decade now.
I like not only that they made it, I like their fight. I like a lot of what they've done. I got to talk with one of the players on radio on Monday as well to preview their upcoming match against Wisconsin. But Nebraska goes down. Wisconsin takes down Texas. Listen, I know they beat Texas twice. I was more scared of a third game against Texas than I was seeing Nebraska again. So Nebraska goes down and Texas goes down. Wisconsin standing in the way, and then potentially a rematch of Pittsburgh or forget who Pittsburgh's play. A&M, who you also beat this season. The bracket looks good, all right? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not calling it. I'm just saying Kentucky could do it. Kentucky's been to the Final Four one time before. They won the national title.
Mm-hmm.
They're going back with a 100% win rate in the Final Four. Let's see if they can keep it alive.
They're killing it, man. They're killing it.
Yeah. Beat Texas when they got there in the championship in 2020. So, Texas would have had that revenge tour on their mind. So you don't have to worry about that. And like you mentioned, Cole, you got Pitt over there. The team, one of the two losses you have was from them.
Nebraska,
they gave you one. Yeah. So now you see a team over there that beat you that you can, get a little payback from. So that if they weren't motivated enough, now you put Pitt on the other side with a chance to meet in the final. Yeah. Woo. But man, Coach Skinner, dude, I mean, 20 years here.
Oh man. He deserves a lot more.
Oh
praise.
Man. And
a lot more.
What he got what he inherited, I think they were good for a stretch in the 80s. There's some banners hanging, and then the years of nothing, and now to see 9 straight SEC championships. The first year the SEC tournament is back after being a while away for 20 years. You win it to reverse sweeping Texas.
Your conference adds one of the best volleyball schools in the country, and you've swept them pretty much. Like, that's absurd. I mean, Kentucky volleyball, it's so special what Craig's been able to do with that program. I mean, this guy, even in some of the years prior where they got out in like the Elite Eight or something like that, like they just felt like they were just one piece away. You know what I mean? They were one of those teams that always felt like they're just like a piece or two away from winning it all ever since they did win it all. Now, again, I'm not one to call my shot. I'm not one to say that it's going to happen, but this team is built to win it all. This team is capable of winning it all. I like this team's chances of winning it all. I really do. The players that I've spoken to, they handle adversity the right way. They're very confident. They're very, close. They support each other. I mean, this group is fantastic. I mean, they're so talented. They're so unbelievably talented. And they played the contest against Creighton in the Elite Eight, the regional final, up on the big screen at Rupp Arena while we were all getting ready for that. I mean, the way that when I'm telling you they had the game on the big screen, it wasn't like I was there. People were coming to go. I mean, the student section filled up pretty quickly for the Indiana game. All eyes pointed straight up at that screen. When Kentucky won it all, the whole arena cheered. I mean, the way Kentucky's rallied around this program, the clips from inside Historic Memorial Coliseum for that game. I mean, it's a special team. It's a special season, and here's to just believing they can finish it out.
For sure, for sure. So Wyatt, man, tell everybody where they can find your work and what you got coming down the pipe next, content-wise, and in and around your trip to Atlanta.
You can find my work at KentuckyWildcatsOnSI.com, and I'm at Wildcat Wave on Twitter and Instagram. Up next, I think I just finished a Things to Know article on St. John's that should be up sometime Friday, depending on how much I get from Pulp's Presser tomorrow. So, busy time. Saturday should be a team no sleep, as we like to say. So, yeah, it's going to be barely any sleep. So,
absolutely. And Cole, what you got, man? What you got queued up for the people?
Whole bunch of the same. Got post presser tomorrow. Getting ready. Gonna try to get my apartment clean. That before I head out, before Christmas gets here, and I got to head out to Atlanta. I'm gonna leave Saturday morning, like 4 a.m. or something like that. Something ridiculous. So
it seems like we're on the same page.
Noon game for some reason. We're gonna get that done, and then got Christmas season. Got the Bellarmine game at some point, and then we're done until January 3rd at Alabama. So that's gonna be a fun way to start ICC play. But got all my gifts bought, wrapped up here under the tree, so we're ready for the holidays and ready to maybe see Kentucky finish the year undefeated. Maybe.
There you go. Absolutely.
Worried about Bellarmine.
Absolutely. And maybe we're back next episode talking about a volleyball championship as well. So
possible.
Busy time, fun time, exciting time. Appreciate y'all taking the time to be on here. Appreciate everybody who listens and watches, taking the time to listen and watch and subscribe and leave us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all those places, and subscribe to the YouTube page and check out the clips on TikTok and all that stuff. Appreciate it. Wyatt, thank you, man. We'll have to get you back on here again.
A pleasure. Love being on here.
Yes, sir. And Cole, man, I always appreciate you. Y'all be safe Saturday morning, going to the ATL, and we'll see what we can do against Patino, student versus teacher. We'll see what happens. For Wyatt, Huff, Cole Park, my name is Vinny Hardy. It's been another episode of Bleav in Kentucky. Go Cats, and we'll see y'all next time.